Hi, Peeps. Welcome back to episode 7 of the Planti Pod. I'm Zohra, and I'm joined with Josh.
Hi.
Yay! Yes, today we're going to be talking about the 5 plants that we don't recommend for beginners. So we've done a video before about counting down 5 plants that we do, and we gave each other like our opinions. And now we're going to do that for plants that we don't recommend for beginners.
It's a little different though than the last countdown we did.
Yes.
Because I've been a little busy. So I prompted Zohra. I was like, can you make the list? I would just love to share my feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So Zohra, and more importantly, Zohra was like, did you make a list? And I was like, no, I want to provide my feedback on your list.
Yes.
She was like, oh, okay, cool idea. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I made a list that was long enough to cover both of us, but I'm like, let's keep it to 5. We can do
5's
this.
enough.
Yeah, 5's enough. I don't want to.
And you know what? If you have another plant that you're like, would this have made the list? Leave in a comment.
Yeah.
Send us a DM.
Yes.
Follow us and tell us somewhere.
Yeah, we'll give you guys our intent.
We love to talk.
Yeah, we really do. I have made notes on our little shop phone again, makes another appearance.
iPhone 8.
iPhone 8, our trusty iPhone 8.
I was just telling you about how I was like, we should probably upgrade this. I was like, then we could use this for filming. And I was like, actually, can we? Or do we get a second phone?
We're going to be phone city in here.
We've got 2 iPads in the shop now because, with their expansion.
Guys, we're bougie.
And now we've got a phone.
We've changed.
And meanwhile, I'm in the office like, should we get a printer? I was like, oh. I was like, so please continue to buy plants. Please continue to shop with us because we might be able to upgrade from an iPhone 8 at some point.
They're like, okay. So these are just 5 random plants. And I will begin. The first one, I know Josh is going to agree with me, but I still want to hear his take. I'm going to say a croton.
Yuck.
Right.
Yuck. Yuck.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We have suppliers, I kid you not. I feel like every time they send their list,
yeah,
like, here's all the plants. Let us know if you need an order. And it's like pages of crotons. And I'm like, Diva, no one wants them.
Why are there so many?
Why are there so many varieties?
Yeah, it's too much. They attract like pests so much. I just don't like them. I just don't think they're good for a beginner because it will kind of get you down as well. Like,
you're not going to do well.
Right.
Although I know there's someone out there who's like, they're my specialty.
Of course.
Diva, we're not catering to you.
Yeah, this doesn't apply to you. Honestly, take some of these with a grain of salt because some people say this about, like, for example, like oxalis. They'll be like, that's a really hard beginner plant, but for me, it was one of my first and it went crazy all the time. So it's going to be different for everyone. But croton for me was a pretty confident, like, not doing it. Okay, my second is a parlor palm.
Palms in general.
Right.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Like, and it depends on your climate, because obviously if you're watching this and you live in Darwin, you're probably fine with a palm. Right. But Canberra, Melbourne, Tassie, anywhere that is like gets a proper winter in Australia. Adelaide, do they get cold in Adelaide?
I think
it gets colder. I don't know if it gets as cold. Some parts of South Australia might. But yeah, anybody in the southeast, like, let's be real, we don't have the humidity. We don't have the temperatures. Like, it is not it.
Yeah, I would maybe opt for a schefflera, an umbrella tree as an alternative.
Yeah, something you want fluffy. Yeah. But I think like parlor palm, like, I know you've been to IKEA and there's like 8 million in IKEA and they're just like, oh, they look so easy. And they're like, you can get nice big ones. But I just find they thin out, they brown, they go crunchy. Unless you're willing to like put them in a greenhouse, I don't think somewhere like Canberra is the right place. I don't think somewhere, honestly, even sometimes like Sydney, like people grow them outside and they're not happy, and then they grow them inside and they're somewhat happy. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think you have to work that hard for a plant.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something that we carry that often for those reasons.
We brought in ponytail palms.
Yes,
which I feel like they're slightly different just because they hold so much moisture in the stem. Like, they're kind of self-sufficient. And even those, sometimes I see them and I'm like, I'm not going to bring those in this time. Like, I just can't.
For number 3, I would say, this is something that literally everyone says, Calathea. I would trust people who say, like, don't do it. Because some people, again, are like, I'm a pro, though, and they're fine. I don't think it works for our environment that well. I think I understand they're appealing because they have, like, interesting foliage. I would recommend try an aglaonema or
Stromanthi. Maranta. Like, if you really want something velvety and fuzzy and colorful, like a Calathea, just go like half a step over to a Maranta. Like, the red vein, I think it's like, I can't remember what it's called other than red vein. Silver band, the variegated Maranta, like, they're all stunning and super cute. But Stromanthi, we've actually got some lovely Stromanthis coming in tomorrow that I just ordered. Huge. The big tricolor. Love those.
Love it. Yeah.
Sanguinea we have in
Yep.
the shop right now, which I only had to look up how to say the other week. So
Ooh,
Sanguinea. Notice
there
how
you
I just
go.
pulled that out and sounded so
Yeah.
professional because
Whoa.
I Googled it before recording a live on
Nice.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Those are great just because you're again getting like the burgundy and the really like feathery, like beautiful, like painted look on the leaves. But just Calathea, like we do not bring them in very often. When we do, I really like I just watch them because I'm like, do you have spider mites? I don't want you here if you have spider mites. Are you dry and crunchy? But then if I wet you too much with water, then you have fungus gnats because you're in nursery mix, and it's just like, just be happy.
Just
Can we
be
just be
happy.
happy? And they're
Yeah.
like, no.
Never. And they are just like, people get disheartened because they come in and they're like, why is it crunchy? Why is it peeling at the edge? And it's like, not worth it.
There's a lot of aspirational Calathea. People are like,
Yes.
are you ever going to get in the white fusion? And I'm like, I've been there, queen. I have looked
Guys.
at them and been like, oh, I need this plant.
Yep.
But it literally has to live inside like a cloche. Like you cannot have it outside exposed to air, or it's like, I'm now brown and crunchy and dry, or I have spider mites, or I just look awful. And I'm like, I don't want a plant that like I have to literally put into like a hyperbaric chamber and be like, are you happy in there? I want to just have it in my room and appreciate it. That's not Calathea.
Okay, this next one is a bit of a like double, so it might be cheating because I have two, but they have a similar profile sometimes. I would say like a fiddle leaf fig or like a dracena, like a happy plant.
Oh, unhappy plant.
Exactly.
Unhappy plant.
So not really similar foliage in any way, but a lot of people kind of are like, I want like a statementy plant. It's something that people see. It's like it's pushed out to you in magazines, movies, and stuff in the background. You're like, oh, house plant.
Even offices. Like you see them like in lobbies of hotels and doctors' offices and business centers, even shopping centers.
Yeah.
What you do not realize is they pay a company to come take care of these. And when they start to look rough, someone comes in and yanks it out and replaces it. Your home does not have someone doing that. That's not you.
The dark truth behind the fiddle leaf fig. See, I think that this might get a little bit of pushback because people love fiddle leaf figs, right?
Yeah.
They love them. Personally, it's not my favorite. I think the leaves are kind of crinkly. There's a lot of room for like underneath if you're not really being really careful about checking it and stuff like that. It's a space that kind of attracts like pests, but even then I think that they can just be fussy. The leaves will fall off and people are like, what am I doing wrong? And I'm like, it's okay. It's not you. Like, yeah, I just think, and then the happy plant is also another one where I'm just like,
I'll have to find you a meme that I posted way back, like probably 2 years ago on Instagram on the Planti Pod page. But it was like, I woke up and my fiddle leaf fig was like this, help. And it has like one leaf.
Literally, I'm like, why?
Zohra will put that over here. I will find it because I was actually, this sounds awful. There's a post I found online and I was like, that's a post. That's a post. I see it. Because that's literally with fiddles, like you do one thing wrong and they're like, so I'm out.
I'm bold.
I don't like this. And we do bring them into the shop. I do find they do it better if you get them more mature.
I was going to say that.
Like if you get a bigger one, we've been bringing some in that are 250 millimeters. And I feel like they're just slightly hardier because they like are established. Where like if you get a little one or like a 200 millimeter even, sometimes you just like bump it and it's just like, oh, I dropped 4 leaves. And I'm like, you only have like 20.
Exactly.
4 leaves is a lot for you to just like lose.
When I was like a really baby plant parent, someone had given me like a cutting of a fiddle leaf fig and I was like, why is it so unhappy? It like died immediately. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. It made me unhappy. And I was like, no. So maybe go for a rubber plant, like a Ficus chivalriana instead.
I think if you want a fiddle, one I would actually get would be the Ficus Audrey.
Oh, yes.
Because Audrey is like almost like if a fiddle was crossed with like a standard like Elastica.
Yep.
Because it has like the green that you're looking for with a fiddle. And it's got even some texture on the leaf, like some lines or veining that almost would mimic like the rippling that you'd get. But it's more hardy like an Elastica.
Yeah.
Like it gives me that. But then also like the Elasticas are so pretty that I'm like, girl, why are you buying that boring green one over there? When I'm like, you have Chiveriana, you have Taneki, you have Ruby, you have Burgundy. Like even the Burgundy, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to order those because I'm like one color.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many other that are so pretty.
Yeah. So there's a lot of variety if you are. So sorry to disappoint anyone who's like a huge Ficus apologist. But
we say this, someone's going to listen to it, come into the shop and see like 3 fiddles in here and be like, so what the heck?
No, we do carry Ficus. And we do carry fiddle leaf figs and stuff like that. So that's not, it was just more of a like, I know a lot of people are like, this is a plant I've seen everywhere. This must be a good beginner plant. So just a disclaimer.
No.
Yeah. Okay. My last one is a string of turtles. A lot of people, when they get into plants and stuff like that, love a hanging plant. They love like something cute like that. I get it. I totally get it. I just think they're not very communicative. I think you kind of really need to know what you're doing. They have very fine, thin roots as well, and require like a lot of humidity, maybe a specific mix as well. So if that's like your first time, like I think it's better to get something where you can learn how to read when your plant wants to be watered, what kind of lighting conditions you want. I would probably like substitute for like maybe a peperomia hope.
Oh yeah, if you're after like the round leaf,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's much more resilient than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I agree and disagree with that one, and I do agree that it is not a beginner plant. Like it's definitely one that's harder to read. It's harder to like. It's like the scene in The Notebook where he's like, "Just tell me."
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how you
Yeah.
are with String of Turtles.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way even about like Chain of Hearts.
I was gonna say that
Which
too.
I know a lot of people are like, but those are so easy. It is not easy for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Like, there's not a lot of leaf, so you don't have a lot of visual cue. And also, sometimes the mix is too dense, and then you're like, are these like a succulent? Do they want to dry out? Do they want to be wet? They're little, like they need to obviously water to grow. And the worst offender, and this is who I'll say is actually worse, String of Pearls. People are like, are you gonna bring them in? I'm like, no,
not happening.
And they're like, but I really want one, and I'm like, that's great. I love that for you. I can't have dead plants in the shop. Like we order things, and that's like the downside of running a business is sometimes you have to be like, we can't bring that in because I know you want to buy one, but I have to buy 20 to get them here. And that means I'm going to have 16 of them end up in the bin. And that means for you to buy the one, I will have to charge you $800 to justify the business not losing money.
I think we had them in at the beginning of the shop.
They looked awful.
They were brown.
They looked awful.
We just shoved them under like a thing somewhere.
I'm pretty sure we threw away, like it must have been we had to buy like 11 from that size. I think we threw 6 or 7 of them away.
Yeah. One of my first plants was like a variegated Senecio, like Angel's Tears. So it's like similar.
She said, come on, Latin.
Similar, like a little like a raindrop size instead.
Yeah.
That one.
Teardrop, raindrop.
Yeah. Raindrop, drop,
Teardrop sounds more sensual.
Oh, it does. A bit romantic. But no, that one was okay. I think it was really hardy and it was good for me. However, then I was like, oh, I will nail looking after a string of pearls. I got a string of pearls. It was like, I can't. It was terrible.
I had a little 7 centimeter one that I'm pretty positive. It was like one of the bottle babies.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
I kid you not. I like threw it on my balcony and was like, goodbye. And it actually loved it out there. This is the thing. If you have to like give up on a plant and like abandon it, it is not a beginner plant. Right. It should be one that like you can comfortably care for.
Yeah.
What you said, Peperomia Hope was your alternative?
Yeah, I know it's a little bigger, but I think the leaves are so lush. They have like that they hold the moisture really well. They're tough. You can kind of like have a better indication. Also super easy to propagate. Just chop it off and like dunk it in water or something or perlite. And it's I feel like it's a high reward plant because it grows quite well. String of Turtles, very cute. I do love them. I just think an absolute beginner might be like a bit out of their depth, but again, it really depends.
Yeah, they do really need like a custom mix too.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like we recommend doing a mix of chunky and funky and succulent savior because they almost need something really fine, but also still really free draining, but they still need some moisture attention because they're peperomia, not a succulent. Yeah, and look, even at this point, I think all of these plants, the big takeaway here is we are plant people. We love plants. There's nothing wrong with any of the plants we mentioned. You probably won't find any of these plants in our homes.
Yeah.
And it's because like I just don't want to put in the extra work. String of Turtles, love them. We will order them.
Always.
I'm not buying one.
Right.
I don't want to own one.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, and I think this kind of applies as well. Like I think most of them, if you get them really mature, you'll have better luck with them, like we were saying. It's just kind of also dependent on temperature and climate and all that stuff. But if you are just a beginner, and it doesn't mean you can never get a string of turtles or anything like that. You can't I just wouldn't have it be the very first plant you ever get.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, Zohra, thank you for putting together that lovely list.
It's okay.
The lovely list that we were like, so here's this plant. We hate it.
But we offered you some alternatives and stuff like that. Well, the first one that I forgot, a croton, I would say like maybe a begonia maculata or something as an alternative.
Yeah, if you're after like the reds, I'd almost go back again to like the Stramanthe.
Yeah.
You could do like a begonia maculata. You could even do like a tiger's eye or tiger's paw begonia, one of those ones. If you're just after like some weird funky shapes and textures, definitely begonia. Still be careful with some begonias because like
Yes.
the escargots and those ones, I'm like,
Oh,
begonia rex,
yeah.
begonia rex, begonia dead.
You
Like it's not it.
Yeah, you got to specify. But no, listen, it's some people will find this list ridiculous and be like, no, that works for me, and that's fine.
I
And we
disagree
love
with
that.
everything you said, and
Yeah.
sweetie, obviously so do a lot of growers.
Yeah.
Because they're available for us to purchase every week.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully you found it helpful if you were just thinking about like picking up something and being like, oh, this is what I want, and then you get discouraged. So hopefully this was helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you for chiming in with your opinions as well.
I have lots of them. I'm always happy to share.
Yeah.
If you would like to hear more of these things, you can give us a follow on all our social media. We love sharing opinions and have plenty of them, and also some fun things of what's happening with the business. You can see all those things at planti.peeps, and that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, our website, plantipeeps.com.au. You can use the code PlantiPod10 for 10% off your first purchase. We ship Australia-wide, except for live plants and organic matter. If you are in WA, Tassie, or Northern Territory, that includes you peeps, cannot get those things. I'm so sorry. But everybody else, we can ship plants, we can ship plant care, other fun things to you, and you get 10% off your first purchase.
Yay! Well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, bye. Peeps!